Are you tired of toxic assholes ruining your fantasy football experience? Consider joining us at the Worthless Fantasy Federation. We run multiple different kinds of leagues. We have a 32-team NFL simulation style fantasy league. That's what most of our content is based around. You can see the podcast episodes on the channel here that directly correlate to that league, but we also have a salary cap league where we have custom rules designed around a salary cap simulation. We have a 16-team Dynasty Superflex league. We have multiple best ball leagues. Next year, we'll be introducing another 32-team NFL simulation style league, a 16-team Dynasty IDP league, and another salary cap simulation league using IDP, and much more to come in 2025 and beyond. I pride myself in building this community free of toxicity and the stuff that normally comes along with a fantasy football, free leagues that you find on Reddit or wherever. No toxic assholes here. We're just a group of people trying to have fun. Everybody's welcome. I don't care what walk of life you're from. You're welcome here. And I will do my best to help you have fun in fantasy football again. We are very active. I'm always available to help. If you're new to fantasy football, I have no issue helping you learn and get better. We have free leagues, we have paid leagues, we're expanding all the time and starting new leagues every year. So if you're looking for something different in fantasy football, something less toxic, something a little more serious, or if you're just looking to learn and you want a place to feel accepted and to make friends, consider joining the Worthless Fantasy Federation. Link to our Discord is in the description. Or if you wanted to just reach out and ask some questions, you can, comment here on YouTube. I will answer. You can reach out on Discord. Just join up in the Discord and DM me. I am Worthless Watkins. I really hope you give us a shot. Thanks.
Welcome in everybody to week 10. It is our guy TJ along with Watkins. Just Watkins today.
Just Watkins today.
Just Watkins. How are you, Watkins?
I'm okay.
You're okay? You don't sound okay.
I'm okay. I don't know. I'm fine.
Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it.
Another day. I'm alive.
Well, that's always a good thing.
Say so.
All right. Well, apparently I'm here with Captain Emo today, actually. Anyway, so week 9's over. The playoff pictures are starting to look a little bit put into place. Still got 4 games left.
Wasn't much movement this week.
Yeah. The winners kept winning and the losers kept losing. So we'll go over that right now, this moment. Who needs a quarterback? I apparently don't, because I beat the Jaguars the Buccaneers still 166-95. Watkins edged out Ulmer 184-169. Minnesota beating Baltimore 176-105. Pittsburgh taking care of Detroit 140-104. The Bengals in a barn burner taking down the Packers 113-51. Panthers doubling up on the Titans 182-95. You got the Falcons obviously beating the Texans 107-31.
It was a bad week for the Falcons, though.
Yes, the Colts. Good for somebody. Yeah, the Colts had a monster game against the Saints when they probably didn't need it, but still whooping ass 219-120. The Cowboys edging out the Jets 165-151. The Eagles edging out the Patriots 200-186. The Bills edging out the Redskins 162-150. In our game of the week, the Dolphins beat the Giants 146-107. Congrats, Stopper. I put on chat already. Just DM me for your prize. The 49ers beating the Raiders 124-111. The Cardinals beating the Chargers 113-78. Chiefs hanging on, beating Seattle 173 to 153. And what's that last one say, Watkins?
And the Rams beating the Broncos, whatever those numbers are.
134 to 110. That's right. That is right.
Yeah,
So let's
yeah.
go to the standings. So you're still in first in your division, 8-1, with Minnesota at 6-3. The Lions 3-6, and the Packers are 0-9. In the East is a little closer with the Eagles at 7-2, Cowboys at 6-3, Washington at 3-6, New York at 1-8. Falcons and Panthers are leading the way there at 8-1 and 7-2 respectively. Saints middling at 4-5, and the Bucks at 0-9. Seattle at 6-3. Right behind them, the Niners and the Cardinals both at 5-4, and the Rams at 3-6. In the AFC North, Pittsburgh's at 7-2. Bengals, Ravens both at 4-5, and Team Ulmer at 3-6. On the East, you got the Bills at 6-3, with the Jets at 4-5, and both Dolphins and Patriots at 3-6. And the South, the Jaguars at 8-1, Colts at 7-2, Titans 3-6, Texans 0-9. And in the West, the Chiefs are now 8-1 with a 2-game lead. Now that the Broncos and Raiders are both at 6-3, with the Chargers at 0-9. So, like I said, in the AFC, you can pretty much see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams already set. So
Yep.
it's looking pretty much foregone conclusion. Still a few weeks left. Little more wishy-washy up here in the NFC. You got you in Minnesota, Philly and the Cowboys, Falcons and the Panthers, and then Seattle. But at 6-3, we've got a couple 5-4 teams right behind them. So still a little bit of a ways to go out in the NFC. On the players' side, on the offense, we've got Tyreek Hill still in first place. I'm pretty sure he's been in first this entire year at 227. Yep. Allen's catching up at 207, with Brown right behind him at 204. Jalen Hurts at 203, and CMC still up there at 197. Pretty crazy considering CMC missed half a game, 3/4 of a game,
yep, something
game,
like that.
Something like that. On the defensive side, you got Aluokon 197, Crosby at 195, Franklin at 193, Edwards at 190, and Bernard at 188. So offensive players are starting to take off here, leaving our defensive players behind. What about our pick'ems?
What about our pick'ems?
Who picked what?
Well, I'm just going to mention the games where somebody got one wrong, because pretty much everybody called like 13 of the games correct. It really only came down to a couple of games.
Okay.
One of them being Jets-Cowboys, where you and I both called the Jets to win, and were wrong, but the WFF correctly called the Cowboys. 49ers Raiders, all of us chose the Raiders to win, so we all got that one wrong. And Rams Broncos, where only one of the three of us correctly chose the Rams. But every other game was, a slam dunk for everybody. We all called pretty much the other 13 games correctly. So you and the WFF called 14 of 16 correctly for 88%, and I called 13 of 16 correctly for 81%.
Someone's falling behind there.
Not really. That brings the grand total up to you in first place with 114 for 79% called correctly. Me in second at 112 with 77% called correctly, and the WFF at 111 with 77% called correctly. So I'm only 2 points back. They're only 3 points back.
Yeah, and looking at this week, I honestly think this may be.
Yeah, this is going to be the week where it's going to be fucked.
That we've had. So I can't wait. I am interested to see what you pick out here. So
I haven't really done my research for this week, so
I looked at like the first half or so. Speaking of me versus my uncle, the Steelers, 8-1 and 7-2 team, doesn't look too close comparatively to some of the other games I'm going to pick myself.
Yeah, I think you're You're both kind of one of those teams, and I'm with you. Like if you rank all the teams by max points for, we are all three of us, me and you and the Steelers, are all kind of at the bottom of the top teams. We're kind of
Oh,
a bit of frauds when it comes to like the top 10 teams. But I think you're slightly less of a fraud than he is, so I'm gonna go with the Jags. Not that he's a fraud. He's a good team. He's on the low end of the good teams, but so are we. So
Oh yeah, 100% agree. I actually have the least points against now by a good chunk. Now that I have played another O for team, so
yeah.
I do not. I am not unaware of how bad my team is and how lucky I have gotten with my schedule. So, pretty crazy to me actually that I'm this close to having the bye week when I've got teams like Kansas City and Denver in my division.
Yep.
Or yeah, in my conference. Sorry. Next we got Tampa and the Packers. Someone's not going to be defeated anymore. So
Yeah, I
this is all to be
know.
interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Buccaneers are still going to win.
Yeah, they should.
So.
There's no reason they shouldn't.
The Falcons and the Vikings. This has a lot of implications for you.
Yes, yes. Well, and for Buff and the Falcons also. If he loses this and I win, then I go to the first seed and he loses his bye spot.
Yeah,
Because it's
that's what
me
I'm
and
saying.
him fighting over that first seed.
It could be you could have the first seed in the conference, or you could be only a game up on your conference and playing this team next week. So it's very scary for you.
Yes.
I did do a little bit of peeking. I think the Vikings are going to have the edge here. For one, they still have Derrick Henry on their bench without and Kirk Cousins not playing, obviously. So that's like a 10 to 15 point extra right there. Would not be surprised if Cordell Patterson scores a goose egg. If Debo does come back, they probably aren't going to be throwing to him a lot to probably ease him back in. I think Minnesota's got this, unfortunately for you.
I kind of, yeah, like my gut feeling is.
Fortunately?
Yeah.
Because you kind of want them to lose.
Yeah, I want both of them to lose, and yeah, I want both of them to win, right? I don't want the Vikings to win because if I lose, they're only one game back, and like you said, we play next week. So if I lose and they win, we play for the division next week because they've got more points than I do, so the tiebreaker is going to go to them.
Mm-hmm.
But
then it comes down to the last 2 weeks.
Right. If they lose, cool. I've still got 2 games up on them. I don't really have to worry about my division. But then I'm not going to get that first seed. The Falcons are pretty much going to lock it up. So I think I'm also going to pick the Vikings to win. I don't love that. I'm a little scared because then, yes, I'm going to end up as the first seed as long as I win. But then if they beat me next week, I drop to the 4th seed or the 5th seed, and they take the first seed, and I don't like that either. So, but I do think they end up winning, so that's who I'm going to pick.
The crazy thing is, like, when you look at the Falcons team, it's not like groundbreaking. Like, I don't know.
They've got more points than we do.
Like, yeah, absolutely. Here's one, a 50-50 split. The 3-6 Lions and the 4-5 Saints. So, I don't know.
I'm just gut checking this one and going with the Saints. They've outplayed projections plenty of times this year. I don't know what it is with them winning games they shouldn't. I'm gut check picking the Saints.
I'm going to go with the Lions. I think the Lions are going to pull this one off.
It could truly go either way, but
100%.
I don't know. I like the Saints.
All right. Eagles and Cardinals. I'm pretty sure the Cardinals have this one. The Eagles are on bye week hell.
Yep.
Look at this.
If you remember before the season when we were doing the division episodes, this was the one where, like, I called the Cardinals the East killer, like, because they got the Cowboys and the Eagles on their bye weeks, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah. So I think the Cardinals win this one, go to 6-4.
which is kind of
and
insane.
Yeah, it puts the Eagles at 7-3. Like I said, I think the NFC has a lot of openings still, as
Yep.
opposed to the AFC, where it's pretty much set in stone what 7 teams are going.
There's a good
The
chance that
Jets-
the Cardinals can end up sneaking into the 7th seed in the NFC.
yeah, and then the AFC, I think the Jets are the only reasonable team to think that they could have a shot at a playoff
Yeah.
spot. It's not in one, but they would need a lot to go right for them. They would need Buffalo to fail, or that's pretty much it, because the other wild card teams actually have better records than Buffalo.
Yeah.
Or are better teams. Seattle and Dallas.
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys, I think.
Okay.
So that's our first split right there. Well, I guess Lions Saints we split
Second.
also.
Yeah. 49ers and Giants. I mean, I'm gonna go with the Niners.
Yeah, same. I think that they should win, no problem.
I don't know, man. Even though the Giants are 1-8, I feel like they put up good fights.
They do, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to beat the 49ers. But, I mean, Niners also one of those teams not doing quite as well as we thought maybe they would.
Redskins Rams. This is probably one of those games where I feel like it'd probably be an easy pick. So Redskins is for me.
Yeah, I'm going Commanders also.
Followed by the next probably slam dunk, the Ravens and the Texans. I just don't feel like there's any way that Casho lets Baltimore lose to them.
No, there's the Texans aren't going to win a game. It's not going to happen. And now that they've locked up both of the top 2 picks, regardless of what happens this year, they have extra reason to not even bother.
So yeah, Baltimore definitely. All right, Bengals and Titans, another 50-50 game. I'm gonna go with the Titans on this one.
Really?
Yeah, they're both gonna miss probably 2 of their wide receivers.
I think I'm going to go with Cincinnati. So that's going to be another split.
Colts and Ulmer. I wish Ulmer would win, but I don't see that happening. Colts.
Nope. Would have been nice if the Colts would have had a hard matchup this week like the rest of us.
True story. Raiders Bills. 2 6-3 teams. I'm gonna go with the Bills.
I am also going with the Bills, but I think it could end up flipping.
Yeah. Here's one that we probably wouldn't have thought would have been close to 50-50. The Chiefs and the Jets. You're probably gonna think I'm crazy. I'm going with the Jets.
There's no way. Why?
I'm going with the Jets.
Okay,
I said that last week about the Broncos.
You're right. I did say that last week about the Rams and Broncos, but I'm gonna take the safe pick and choose the Chiefs.
Dolphins Chargers. Is this the week that the Chargers win their first game? I know they keep trying.
I don't think they're trying.
They're trying to win one game.
Why would they try to win one game?
I don't know. He said that. I think he said he wanted to bring down one of the Titans just once.
That would be funny. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna ride the I don't even know the insane train with you and pick the Chargers to win. Not exactly a Titan that he's gonna take down, but it is still he's gonna win a game.
Patriots and Broncos. Broncos couldn't lose twice in a row. Like
3 times in a row. No.
I couldn't lose to losing teams twice in a row.
Right.
Could they?
You're gonna lose to the 27th ranked team and then now the 25th ranked team 2 weeks in a row? Surely not.
I feel like every time I pick the Patriots to win, they lose. Every time I pick the Patriots to lose, they win. So I'm gonna pick the Patriots to lose. I'm going with the Broncos.
I am likewise going to go with the Broncos. I can't imagine him losing to the Rams and the Patriots in back-to-back weeks and falling that far out of first place.
After being picked second, in the power.
Yeah, that'd be a hard fall from grace if he loses to the Rams and Patriots in back-to-back weeks.
Well, if you've been keeping track, that means you are in the game of the week.
I am. It's my turn.
Another 50-50 game. Another 50-50 game. 8-1 Bears, 7-2 Panthers.
With big implications, which is another reason that we chose this game. Mine's a must-win game, especially with the Vikings having a favored game this week, because if I lose and the Vikings win, we play each other next week, and that game will end up being for the division. If I win, I keep my lead over the Vikings. But likewise, the Panthers at 7-2, they're only one game back from the Falcons, who are the ones that played the Vikings. Yes, if the Panthers win and the Falcons lose, the Panthers will go to first place. So it's my game of the Panthers and the Vikings and the Falcons game that are kind of like tied at the hip. These two games have massive implications on each other and over the NFC playoffs as a whole. But the Falcons and the Vikings have both had a game of the week already. Me and the Panthers have not, which is why it's going to be me and the Panthers.
Correct. So let's get down to your teams.
Now, I will say before we start this, my lineup is set, but Justin Fields and David Montgomery will likely be back this week, but I do not have them in my lineup yet because it's not a for sure thing.
Okay.
But there's a very high likelihood that I end up with Justin Fields at quarterback and David Montgomery at running back, and then Jerome Ford taking over the slot or the flex for Elijah Moore or Christian Watson, one of the two.
Ford versus Robinson.
Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson, yes.
Not Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, no, the better Robinson. I actually don't know. I actually think Robinson's going to have a better game this week.
Is Gibson hurt?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, Gibson's been. We don't need to get into the nuts and bolts of this because I know it's a sore subject between us of Brian Robinson versus Antonio Gibson. But Gibson's been eating into his touches the past couple of weeks. Gibson's getting better, getting more involved. So Robinson hasn't really been doing as well as he did at the start of the season.
I mean, he had 6 attempts last week, 2, 2, and 3 the weeks before that. So I'm not too concerned about that. On the other side of that, flip side of that coin, you've got Ford, who's getting Kareem Hunt's taking more snaps away from, and Cleveland is playing against Baltimore at Baltimore.
Yeah, but I mean the Commanders are playing at Seattle, so it's running against the Baltimore defense and running against the Seattle defense. Obviously, the Baltimore running defense is better. Seattle's still good. They got about the same amount of touches last week. Robinson got 18, Ford got 20. Ford is more involved as a pass catcher, though. I don't know. I think objectively I'd rather have Robinson, but I actually think that I like Ford more. But I think that could go either way. Obviously, Ford's projected higher by about 4 points, but I don't think that it's necessarily going to be that big of a difference.
Type wide receivers, you got Pittman versus Higgins. I don't really consider them wide receiver ones, but they're both really good twos.
I mean, Pittman is objectively the wide receiver 1 for the Colts. He's wide receiver 11 on the year. Pittman's having a pretty solid year. He was wide receiver 13 last week and 14 the week before that.
I still think I'm going to go with Higgins.
I'm going with Pittman.
He's playing at New England. He's only got Gardner Minshew thrown to him. Higgins is playing versus Houston, so it's at Cincinnati. And we just saw how explosive Houston's offense is, so Cincinnati is probably going to rely on him a lot more.
I don't know. I'm going to go with Pittman.
Okay. Cooper and Shakir. I'm going to go with Cooper, but I'm not a fan of Cooper.
I am. He's just had a really down year, and the Browns fucking suck. Last week, finally, Cooper did something on a week that I didn't need him to.
Shakir's been coming along here the past couple of weeks, but I don't think he's still like at a level that I would say I would take him over Cooper.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, if it was even I'd take Higgins or Pittman over Cooper. You know, like, but Cooper was wide receiver 4 last week. He maybe, just maybe. It was only on 5 targets though. 11 targets the week before that, and didn't do shit with him. But yeah, I'm gonna take Cooper, but he's, Cooper's not what I hoped he'd turn out to be.
Kmet versus Ferguson.
The like
don't
the
know.
two of my favorite tight ends in the league.
I don't know a world where I wouldn't pick Komet over Ferguson. Not taking away from Ferguson. I just think Komet is underrated.
Komet is definitely underrated. I think they're both really good tight ends. Komet just has more usage than Ferguson.
Ferguson has a better quarterback.
Ferguson does have the better quarterback, but because he's got the better quarterback and the better receivers, honestly, Dak's throwing to CeeDee Lamb. He's not throwing to Ferguson. Bagent is dumping off to Komet all the time, and Fields loves throwing to Komet. Bagent threw to Komet 18 times the past 2 weeks.
Watson and Moore against Dobbs and Renfro. I think you've got the flex here.
I mean, Elijah Moore's not doing fuck all, but neither's Hunter Renfro. He's doing even less, and then Dobbs is not really doing. He gets 4 to 10 targets a game, depending on how the Packers are doing. He is only a wide receiver 3? Oh, I guess he's 2 on their depth chart. I thought Jaden Reed was above him, but I've got the wide receiver 1 of that equation. So I don't know. I'm gonna take my side, but I don't think it's actually as it's closer than I would have liked it to be.
Wilson versus Love. I don't care how bad Love's been recently.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Wilson over Love.
No, I'd pick one of my flex players over Wilson at this point. But like I said, I'm really hoping Fields gets a full week of practice in. He should be back at practice this week. He was back at practice today, I think, on a limited practice. But we play on Thursday this week. That's why I haven't slotted him in yet, because it's a little bit of a short week for him. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it all the way back.
Gotcha.
It'll depend on if he practices. If he can get a full practice in tomorrow, that would be great. But we'll see. That's why I haven't started him yet.
So you going Love as well then?
Yeah, definitely. I'll take Love over Wilson all day. But if fucking,
even though they're playing at Pittsburgh, so
yeah, I'm still taking Love over Wilson all day, every day. But if Fields comes back and Fields starts this week, I would take Fields over Love.
Okay. IDP, you got Alexander versus Luvu. I don't think there's much question on that.
No, yeah, it's Luvu all day, every day. And this is, we picked my side on the offense a lot. We're going to pick his side on the defense a lot.
Yeah, this is where Carolina starts.
I do have Tremaine Edmonds and Quay Walker both on the bench currently because they got injured. Looks like Walker practiced fully. Oh, wait, this is from last week. So I don't know I don't know how bad their injuries were. I didn't really pay that close attention. But I'm hoping to be able to start Edmonds and Walker, and that might even it out a little bit, but we'll see. As it stands, though, definitely taking Luvu and probably taking every side of the defense on his side.
Yeah, so defensive linemen, you got Oliver and Bonito versus Crosby and Browning. Pretty sure Crosby just sways this towards.
Yeah, I mean, we could just do Bonito and Oliver versus Crosby, and I'm still taking Crosby.
Linebackers, Sanborn and McDuffie versus Mayo and Bernard. What really makes me mad about Mayo is I dropped him because he had scored 0 points.
I know.
After I traded him for him, Andrew Cisco for him, he ended up getting dropped by me.
Yep.
Picked up by someone else, dropped again, picked up, and now he's scoring 18 points, 15 points, 7 points.
Somebody must have got injured like right after you dropped him. I didn't pay that close attention.
Doesn't matter. I'm pissed off. With that being said,
so here's the thing here. I'm guessing, were the Jaguars on bye last week?
Yes.
Right. So he's got Olaquan and Chad Muma on his bench.
Okay.
Well, I guess Chad Muma's not really a starter, but Olaquan is. So Olaquan is going to end up as one of those linebacker spots.
Probably taking Mayo's spot.
Right. So really, this is Sanborn and McDuffie versus Ololaquan and Terrell Bernard. Bernard's in the concussion protocol, so he actually might not play this week.
I really like Sanborn.
I really like Sanborn too, but if Tremaine Edmonds and Quay Walker come back, those are my 2 starters. It's either Isaiah McDuffie if Quay Walker's out, if Quay Walker's in, then I'm starting Quay Walker, and then if Tremaine Edmonds is out, I'm starting Sanborn. But if Edmonds comes back, I'm starting Edmonds.
I think I'm still going to pick Carolina's side, but it's a lot closer.
Yeah, linebacker I think is a lot closer. Obviously, we have to think that Ololuokwan has taken Mayo's spot there, or really Bernard's maybe if Bernard is out. But he's also got Aiden Hutchinson on the bench, Brian Burns on the bench. But I didn't realize Burns was injured. Oh, he's already been ruled out against the Bears.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So dumb.
Yeah, his defense is fucking stupid.
DBs, you got Petre, Johnson versus Hill. Sneed's on a bye, so we have to.
He does not have a DB to slot in. They're all on bye. I just saw that for the first time.
Okay. Well. Yeah, so Petre and Johnson versus Hill. I'm going to take your side on that one.
He'd have to pull somebody off a taxi, which I doubt he does. I've also got, if Jaquan Brisker comes back again, the Bears play Thursday this week, which is why I haven't started any of them that may or may not come back. He practiced fully Monday this week, so I'm hoping he's back this week, in which case it'll be Petrie and Brisker, which is a way better option than Petrie and Johnson, but still 2-on-1. If he doesn't have anybody to slide in over Snead, I'm definitely taking my side there.
Yep. On the bench side, like you said, you got Fields, you got Montgomery. So you got a few key offensive players that may come back. He's got Hutchinson, Aluokun, Muma. You said Edmonds may come back, Walker may come back. There's a lot of Brisker. There's a lot of hurt guys that may come back. So this could switch.
Yeah, five of my starters are hurt right now, but may come back this week.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, and I didn't realize we're projected exactly 50-50. But that's without 5 of my top starters, and without 1 of his, I think, or 2 of his if you count Hutchinson.
Well, he doesn't have a player at defensive
back.
And
doesn't have a player at defensive back. That's crazy.
Okay, you guys are missing out on a lot right now. That's why you guys are projected only 135 and 136 points.
Yeah.
This is your game. I'm gonna let you pick first because this sucks.
Yeah, it really comes down to offense versus defense. I like my offense a lot better than I like his. I like his defense a lot better than I like mine. But it's, can his offense make up for, or can his defense make up for his lack of offense? Can my offense make up for my lack of defense? But I also, like I said, have 5 starters that got injured last week. And if even 2 of those 5 come back this week, I like my chances a lot more, and I also like my chances of that happening. So I'm going to pick myself. I think it's going to be real close, and all it takes is a big game from fucking Crosby. Crosby gets 3 sacks against the Jets, and all of a sudden the Panthers are winning.
I think I'm on your side. I'm going to go with the Bears.
I don't love it, but I feel it. I just need like 2 of my 5 starters to come back from injury this week, and it looks like Brisker likely will and Montgomery likely will, and I'll fucking take it.
I'm just going to let you know that I'm pretty sure the rest of the season I'm not going to pick against myself, so I feel pretty good against all the games that I'm playing.
I haven't really looked. I know I play the Vikings next week, but I don't know who I play week 12 and week 13. So
you play the Vikings, then you play the Bengals, and then you play the Lions. So you're losing to the Vikings, and then you're home free.
That's what I have to win this week, because if I lose this week, then I play the Vikings next week for the division pretty much straight up, unless they've got another hard game, which is possible, I guess, but I doubt it. Because if I'm playing the Lions that last week, that means they play the Packers, and if I'm playing the Bengals, that means they either play the Browns or the Steelers.
The verse pick, I'm really curious to see what these guys have picked.
I did not have it loaded up prior, so let me load it up real quick. Ooh. Because my game's always first on my screen, so I can see my game first, because I just fill it out in order. So we get their game of the week pick first. And they went with the Panthers for game of the week. 4-2. Eagles Cardinals is 5-1 in favor of the Cardinals. Hey, people are starting to look at bye weeks, I think, finally, when they make their picks. Falcons Vikings is 4-2 in favor of the Falcons.
Are you
Interesting.
sure? Because the Cardinals actually should be. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 5-1 in favor of the Cardinals.
Yeah, I see it now.
4-2. 4-2 in favor of the Falcons.
Okay.
5-1 in favor of the Seahawks over the Cowboys.
Okay.
4-2 in favor of the Bengals over the Titans.
5-1
Dolphins over Chargers. So interesting.
Okay.
5-1 in favor of the Jaguars over the Steelers. 5-1 in favor of the Chiefs over the Jets. 50-50 split on the Lions and Saints.
The Lions have 77.49 points projected. The Saints have 77.35 points projected. So they have to go with the Lions.
Jesus.
Okay. 0.14 points.
That's ridiculous. Okay, so they go with the Lions for tiebreaker. Browns Colts 5-1 in favor of the Colts. 100% in favor of the 49ers over the Giants.
Okay.
5-1 in favor of the Bucks over the Packers. 100% in favor of the Ravens over the Texans. 5-1 in favor of the Bills over the Raiders. 100% in favor of the Commanders over the Rams, even though they just took down the Broncos.
Okay.
And 5-1 in favor of the Broncos over the Patriots.
Okay. Yeah, this week's probably going to change up the pick'ems quite a bit.
Yeah, there's going to be a massive shift in everything this week with all of these games between top 10 teams. Like I said in Discord earlier today, there's 5 games between top 15 teams this week. And you could even consider it 6 if you consider the Chiefs-Jets, because the Jets are just outside of the top 15. So if you kind of just loop them in there with us, there's 6 games between the top 15 teams.
Yeah. So what this probably does is make the positioning in the SC a little bit more understandable, where everybody will end up in the playoffs, as opposed to the NFC. I mean, it's just you guys are up. You know, they could just totally turn it.
It's like real life. That's how it works in the real NFL too. The AFC is always fucking, hey, those are the 5 teams that are going, the 4 teams that are going to the championship game. You can call that shit at the beginning of the season. And the NFC, it's like, I don't fucking know who's good and who's not.
There's a very real chance that there's only 1 or 0 8-1 or 1-loss team after this week.
Yeah, because none of the 8-1 teams play each other. So there's a real shot that all the 8-1 teams lose this week. It's totally possible.
And there's a very real chance that there's only like 2 teams that have no losses left also.
That is true. Yeah, the Bucks should win against the Packers, and if the Chargers beat the Dolphins, then it's Texans and Packers are going to be the only teams without a win. But if the Bucks and Chargers both win, I guess at that point then they're competing with the Giants for like their pick range, because the Giants also only have 1 win. But it doesn't really change too much if the Bucks and Packers, or if the Bucks and the Chargers both win. They'll still be kind of in the same spot there on the standings that they're at.
Yeah. In terms of points for, I mean, Giants have 1,100 points for. Chargers only at 900. Packers are at 500, and Tampa Bay is only at 838. So
yeah, so it doesn't really change much. Yeah.
Still got a ways to go there. All right, man. I'm nervous.
Me too. I have to win. I have to. Because if I don't, then the Vikings game next week is going to be a fucking nail biter.
This will be the most interesting week, other than probably week 13 in the playoffs for us. So
yeah.
So to all the teams that are hoping to continue on and make the playoffs, good luck. Except for the Steelers. We will see you guys all in a week.
Gonna be a very interesting Tuesday next week.
It's gonna be a fun weekend. I can already hear my phone going off.
Yeah.
Bing, bing, bing. So yeah, I'm gonna have like 832 sleeper notifications.
Yep, gonna be a lot of chatter this week, I have a feeling.
Yeah. Hopefully. All right, guys. We will see you all in a week.
I'll be here.
See ya.